So, sitting or lying, we're going to start with a gentle grounding activity. So get yourselves comfortable. And whatever position you're sitting in or lying in is perfect. And remember, you can use pillows and cushions to make yourself more comfortable, to make it easier to sit up. If you're on a bed or a sofa, you can let your legs move off the edge of the chair, the sofa, if that's easier for you. And we're just going to help you reconnect with the present moment and also reconnect with your body. And this grounding activity is going to promote a feeling of calm and stability. And if you feel okay, feel free to close your eyes or just soften your gaze. And feel your body and the points of contact between you and the floor or between you and the bed. And without making any major moves, I just want you to wiggle your toes, gentle wiggles of your toes. You could curl and uncurl your toes several times. See if you can spread them out and scrunch them up without giving you a sudden cramp. And spend a moment noticing the sensations in your feet. And this is where we're going to imagine our connection with the earth. So imagine roots growing from the soles of your feet and extending down into the earth and anchoring you. Notice the feeling of support and solidness of the ground beneath you. And visualize the earth's energy flowing up through these roots and into your body, providing you with the stability and strength that you need, not just to get through this class, but to get through moving forward as well. And take slow, deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling through your nose where possible. And as you inhale, imagine drawing in the earth's energy. And as you exhale, release any tension or stress into the ground. When you feel ready, gently flutter your eyelashes open. And we're going to go into our first routine, which is a wake-up routine. So imagine it's early in the morning and you've just woken up and just opened your eyes. And some people, especially if you've got something like EDS, you might be doing a quick body scan to notice which parts of your body might not be quite in place, in joint. Which parts of your body might be feeling a bit stiff or achy? So you might want to start with a gentle body scan, just noticing without judgment and without fear, just noticing what's going on in your body as you wake up. And taking some deep breaths. And then gently turning your head from side to side. Now, when I say turn your head side to side, I mean small. So think you've got an 180-degree turn that you could potentially do with your head. But think really small, gentle turns that are going maybe 10 degrees maximum as you move the head from side to side, either with your eyes closed or open. And then bring your nose into the center and tilt the nose up and tilt the nose down. Teeny tiny moves once again. Starting to oxygenate your body with some deep breaths. And then imagine there's a 5p piece on the ceiling and you're going to circle your nose around that 5p. And circle the other way as well. And lots of people grit their teeth in their sleep. It's quite a common thing to do. So I'd like you to open your mouth so your lips separate. And then close your mouth, closing the lips, but allowing the teeth to stay away from each other. And allowing your tongue to settle on the roof of your mouth, just behind the top teeth. Hopefully you've released any tension you might be feeling in your jaw. And then we're going to slide the shoulders up the bed a tiny bit and slide them down. And these are teeny tiny moves. I'm probably doing them a bit too much to extreme, but it's just so you can see what I'm doing as I slide them up and slide them down. You could take a deep breath in as you lift them up and exhale as you slide them down. Breathing deeply in. Feel how those shoulder blades are shifting underneath you. And then relax the shoulders away from your ears. And here you might want to shuffle them away. Have a little wiggle. And bring your hands up, so bend at the elbow. And scrunch up your hands. And then flex them open. So it's a scrunching and flexing. And you might want to start this really small and slow because your fingers might have got all tense in the sleep. And I know a lot of people with pain conditions, inflammation settles in the joints. So this first part of moving can be quite painful. So when I say scrunch, I don't mean really fisting hard. I mean gentle. That's it. And then do the same with the ankles and the feet. So you might want to move the feet a little bit away from you so you can flex at the ankle and then scrunch and flex back the toes. Or at this point, you might want to bend the knees and scrunch or point and flex back. So now we're encouraging the blood flow to start around the body. So while you're breathing, you're encouraging that oxygen to move through you. And making yourself comfortable again. We're going to do figure of 8 with the hands. That's it. And notice how you can make your forearm rotate inwards and outwards. And then notice how you could bring your shoulders in. So gently making this a move that feels good for you. Now this lifting the arms up, especially if you've got POTS, can shift where the blood is in your body. So if you need to keep it low like this, that's also fine. But I'm hoping it might help you transition between the lying down to the sitting. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but if you need to rest those arms, it's absolutely fine. And then relax the arms and bend the knees again. And at this point, because you had the legs lengthened, you might then need to squeeze the buttocks to lift the hips a little bit to release them back down again, because this position can tilt your pelvis this way, and then when you come back up, your spine isn't necessarily shifting with it, so you might need to lift and replace back down to create space. But it might be painful for a couple of you, so just be gentle and listen to what's good for you. And here we're going to breathe in and exhale, tilt pubic bone to nose and pubic bone down towards toes on an in-breath. So we're starting the pelvic tilts. And as always, I always do these to a little bit of an extreme, just so you can see what I'm doing, so you can copy. But I want you to think small, really, really small. Even if you're barely even moving, but you're getting a teeny tiny tilt, that's absolutely perfect. And with this breath, you're starting to activate your core muscles. So it's like you're waking them up. So that breath out will start activating them, and the breath in will start releasing them. That's it. And then we're going to very gently let everything relax here and gently sway the knees side to side. So we're starting to bring mobility into our hips and lower back as we do this, and the pelvis. This is a really good one for noticing if there's any tension in your body. Well done. And that might be plenty for you as a wake-up routine, a very small one. But some of you, if you want a bit more, we get really stiff in our hips. So you might want to hug a hip, or a knee, and lengthen the other leg. That might feel good to you. If it hurts with your hands on top of your knee, you could come underneath. Or you could hold on to your PJs if you wear pajamas, and hold on like this. And then release. But please make room for your tummies. Okay, so often when we bring a knee in towards our chest, it can really make it hard to breathe. So the other leg lengthening helps, but you could also shift your tummy to one side and then move the knee out a little bit so you're still able to breathe. Because breathing, I know, is so underrated, but we do need to do it. And lots of people get really tight in their hamstrings. So another move you could do is hug the knee and flex the heel and lengthen. And as always, it's just a little bit. So waking up first thing in the morning, I do not expect you to be looking like ballet dancers with your legs completely straight. So it's just small, gentle lengthening and returning. Not for too long, especially if you've got EDS or hypermobility. You don't want to force it. It's just allowing the muscles and the blood flow to get ready to move. And then we're going to gently sway the knees first. That's it. Starting to take some deep breaths. So now we're getting the oxygen flowing to where it needs to go. And obviously, if you're on a sofa, this isn't going to work. I don't want you to roll onto your side. But we're going to gently move the knees towards one side, lift up the tummy to support us as we roll to one side, and use the hand to push yourself back up. Now, if you've got POTS, squeeze the body, the bottom and the legs a bit before you come up into sitting, so we can try and keep the blood up in your head. That's it. Now, if you're lying down and it's going to be too painful for you to get into a sitting position at this point, you don't have to. You can stay exactly where you are, okay? Everyone okay? Have you managed to keep the blood up in your head?
Yeah.
So that's a little wake up routine. And I'll try and edit it down so it's a bit quicker for you when you use the recording. This next one is a bedtime routine, and I told you last week about Lolita. So Lolita was one of Joseph Pilates' apprentices, and she's rather an old lady now. I think she's in her 90s, and she has got a bedtime routine that she does without fail, and it's kept her mobile, and she is still teaching even now, which I think is just amazing. So I thought I'd teach you a part of it because some of her moves are quite extreme and we're like, this isn't going to do anybody any good if we're like we are with our bodies. So this is just a little part of her routine because hers is an hour. Mine I've cut down to about 5 minutes. Okay. So the first thing she does is she sits down and she sits on the edge of her bed with her legs over the bed. But if you're on the floor, you might like to sit in a comfy position for you. That's it. And she starts with her neck because in the day, your muscles get really tight, especially if you've got cervical instability. So you might feel like it's all really headachy and stiff and yucky. So she starts with gentle tick-tocking ear to shoulder, each side, not holding the positions for long, just breathing in and out. And even this, especially if you've not moved much today, might be a bit crunchy. So use your breath. And then she looks towards the shoulder, breathing in and exhale. Breathing in and exhale. Some people get dizzy doing this, by the way, so you can shut your eyes or keep your eyes facing forward if that works better for you. And then she does the chicken neck. So she brings the chin out and draws it back. That's it. Give me your doubles. Well done. It's nice and gentle. So give me your best faces. So you get to keep this recording for life, so you get to see me doing this every day of your life if you want to. You're so lucky. Well done. That's it. And then a gentle roll down. So at the end of the day, you don't want to be doing extreme roll downs because you don't want to be mobilizing everything. But if you just give yourself a gentle one from sitting, you could bring yourself down, allow the spine to curve, and then roll your way back up again. If you're still in a lying position, please gently tilt the chin and look towards your pubic bone, but not bring the shoulders up too high. And a gentle rotation. So a gentle this way and this way. And if you're lying down, to get the same kind of rotation, you could do your knees side to side. And that gives your spine a little bit of flexibility too. That's it. And then coming upright. And she brings the arm up and over to do a side stretch. But if it's better for you, you could do this. If you're still lying down, you could reach a hand towards the knee and return. And tiny bit the other way and return. Okay? So choose what's good for you. Some people don't like having arms above heads, and that works just as well. That's it. And then eventually she has a whole other routine in between this where she's standing up doing all sorts. But then eventually she gets to lie down. So this is where we get to lie down too. And tilts pubic bone to nose, which we've already done with our wake up routine. Very gentle, tilting. And then marble on a plate, or I call it Malteser on a side plate. So imagine you've got a Malteser on a plate and you're spinning it around. So you're circling that pelvis. That's it. And circling the other way as well. Now, stay where you are. I'm going to adjust my position so you can see what I do next. The next one is where you externally rotate at the hip. That doesn't need to go far. Slide the leg away, internally rotate so the knee's facing upwards again, and slide it back. When you slide the leg away, please try not to push too far, so still keep the knee soft, and then come back. I often see lots of people just kind of plonking it away like this, and that's not controlled. And I want you to keep your kneecaps in place before you go to sleep. So rotate outwards, slide away, rotate back, and return. That's it. And then gently rolling over to the side and giving your heads a hug. So this might be, hopefully you've got lots of nice pillows if you're in bed, so you're well supported underneath your head. Some people don't have the mobility in their shoulders to be in this position, and it might end up being that you're dragging your head forward. So you can have a higher pillow underneath like this instead, and you can bring your arm across here. Whichever version you're doing, we're going to do the open book, which I know I've done with most of you. So you're here, your legs are relaxed, and you're gently opening, breathing in, keeping an eye on that elbow so it stays in your sight, and then breathing out, returning. So breathing in, opening up, breathing out, returning. And one more. And then returning. And in a similar style, so that was an external rotation here, externally rotating at the hip. If you've got hip bursitis or greater trochanteric pain syndrome, I'd recommend lifting like this in one, as opposed to lifting like this. Traditionally, with a clam, which is what we're doing, you would line your heels up with your bottoms, so you'd be more in this position as you externally rotate. That's it. So this is the version I'm doing because I've got some inflammation going on deep in my hip. So it's either external rotation or this one. And we only do a couple because we don't want to do loads, but we just want to encourage that opening up of the hips. And then, with control, push yourself into a seated position. So at this point you might need to tense the legs a bit to come up. And bring the leg in front, and that leg that you left behind that was on top, bring it across here and sit tall. So you're tall, that's it, well done. For some of you, you'll really enjoy this, and lots of teachers teach it. If I can get in that position, but I'm a lot stiffer than I used to be, ooh, like this. It's not nice, I can't do it at the moment. So this is a much safer version. Well done. If you're lying down still, you can bring the leg up and do this instead, and it will get that same mobility in the hip. Swapping to the other side and doing the same again. So if you're in bed, you'll just be able to roll over to the other side as opposed to twizzling yourself around so much like this. And give your head a hug. That's it. And gently open up, being very gentle with your backs as you breathe in and out. So remembering adjusting your arm if you need to, across your chest, breathing in. That's it. And one more. And then moving down to your hips, aligning the heels up with your bottom and gently rotating outwards and returning, or gently lifting up and returning. So what we're doing is we're mobilising all the bits that might have got a bit stiff and sore in a day. And then using your hand to push yourself into seated position, ideally keeping the blood up in your head where it needs to be. The leg that was on top that was moving, hug it across and sit in this position and breathe. That's it. Otherwise, if you're still lying on your side, hug the knee in like this and give it some love. And then lying down again. Getting some mobility back into the shoulders now. So bringing the fingertips towards the sky and pushing the shoulder blades so they move upwards and allowing them to move down again. So gentle push away from you and return. That's it. And then return and gently circle the arms. So a lot of these moves are really good at encouraging blood flow to go to certain areas that can get really sore. So this one with your arms up in the air can often encourage blood flow to get to your shoulders. And this next one, if anyone's ever done happy baby pose, is great for getting blood flow to your pelvis and your hips. Now we've all got different versions of happy baby. Okay, so some of you might prefer this one where you bring your feet together and allow the knees to separate. Luckily, being in bed, if we're going to just about to go to bed, we could use cushions either side or balls either side of your legs, so you're not allowing your hips to hyperextend and they're feeling nice and supported like that. So that's one option that you could do to open up the pelvic area. Another option is hugging onto the knees, but keeping them wide and open. So you're once again keeping space so you can breathe, okay? I like it when you breathe. So get the tummy between the legs and hold on here, or you could hold onto your leggings and breathe like this. So that's one version of happy baby. Or you could flex at the heels and lengthen and still hold on here, or some of you might want to reach the toes and gently breathe. So just put your hands wherever feels good to you as you're in this position, which is very attractive, isn't it? And then lower the feet down, 1, 2 on the floor. And then allow the knees to move towards one side. Once again, this could be where you could bring your balls in. So you could rest towards one side and turn your head in the opposite direction and take a couple of breaths. And then gently swap sides. Taking a couple of breaths. And then finding a comfortable position for you. And bringing your body into a rest and digest state, which is a very nice place for your body to be in just before sleep. So to do that, you're stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system. So if you take a deep breath in, and then allow your breath to leave your body really slowly. So your out breath needs to be longer than your in breath, to move you away from fight, flight or freeze and into rest and digest. And the parasympathetic nervous system can move anxiety away from your brain, and it can help calm pain signals as well. So it's a really good one to do before bed. So breathing deeply in and exhale. And hopefully at that point you will be able to drift off to sleep, which would be amazing. Okay. So when you feel ready, gently flutter your eyelashes open if you'd shut them. And move into a position where you feel comfortable to talk. So if you want to stay lying down,